Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Thô Su Chê Đô Ye Ở La Hờ Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Ta Đa Tha Tu Ya Da Ya A La Ha Đề Tam Miệu Tam Mô Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu wo jin jie wen de shou qi 愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Sutra, Great Master Shenhua, all good monks and nuns, and all good new advisors of Meitofo. 诸佛菩萨、智者大士、师父上人、各位主持人、各位善知识、弥陀佛。 Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa trí giả đại sư của Thượng Tiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone. Today is the 4th of January 2025. We're here at Go Force to continue discussing chapter 1 of the Vimalakirti Sutra. Thank you for coming and giving us a chance to learn about this wonderful, wonderful Dharma. First of all, this is the last lecture, this sutra during this year-end Fochi and Chanchi. And so I have mixed feelings because we we'll be saying goodbye to some of you who have taken up the opportunity to be here during the holidays to cultivate with us. We feel sorry for you. You must have nothing to do, nothing more important to do. Have a life, guys. I hope you all the normal happiness of the world, okay? Hopefully, seriously, hopefully, with the sacrifices you're making, your family is making, maybe you'll come back stronger and more resilient and more at peace with yourself and more tolerant. How's that? It's very important. Sign of improvement in you is that you I was talking about this at lunch. Your body becomes more flexible. It's a sign of health, increased health. Compared to your age, most of you will be, I know you're all a lot more flexible than you're supposed to be. That's a sign of good health right there, all right? And that's physical. And the associated mental side of it, spiritual side of it, mental side is that you are more tolerant. When I talk about mental is your brains, your intellect. You become more tolerant instead of insisting on having your way. You become more receptive, more tolerant of others who think differently than you, who believe differently from you. Okay, that's a sign of wisdom growing in you. Okay, and finally, spiritually, the difference is that you are a gooder person. Your heart feels better about yourself. That's why naturally you become gooder. I don't know any other English term besides gooder. We could use Gouda, which is a good cheese that I like. But it makes some of you are still fasting more hungry. Okay, and those are the little things that people will eventually notice, and if improves relationship, your interpersonal relationships. Okay, that's a nice thing. Well, that's what we observe throughout the years, the last all these 2 decades of practices with you. We notice that in you. And I know it's, I can't stress this enough. It happened because you made a lot of sacrifices of your time and of a lot of stuff you have. And you endure a lot of hardships in order to get there. There's no magic. We don't have a magic wand that makes you better, more tolerant, more patient, gooder, and all those things. You developed it yourself. It's all kudos to you, seriously. And which makes my job much harder. Every time I look at you, I say, oh my God, now there is an escalation of warfare. They're better, so I have to be better. I need to rise to the challenge. So let me tell you, every time I lecture the sutras and I speak Dharma to you, I have to admit to you, it's so stressful that I feel I can't even breathe. Because all of you have these 2 searchlights-like eyes staring at this guy. Oh, what is going to say now? You are scary, let me tell you. So after lectures, I usually go back to my room and I shake for half an hour. The physical, uncontrollable shaking, because that's the kind of pressure you put on the poor speakers. Yeah. That's why people say, how come I don't allow more of my disciples to speak Dharma? Because I want to save them from the stress until they're ready. You are the meanest and the most scary audience that any Dharma master can face, because you evolve steadily. So it's this constant pressure from you. You know, I look at you and go, oh my God, here we go again. All right, so I know I want to say that because some of you are leaving after this weekend, so we appreciate your coming, and that's very important. I know that it's difficult for you to come, and and we enjoyed it, the time together. All right. And here, let's go back to this Dharma in question here, the Vimalakirti Sutra. We are in this chapter 1 that's describing some of the 32,000 Mahasattvas in attendance. And we're now on slide 188, Bodhisattva Dharma marks.
法相菩萨.
And I remember the 189 commentary slide. I remember like the last couple of years ago, the last couple of years or so, there is a monk from outside who came in and listened for a while, and then he came off and on, and one day he decided to ask to shadow me for a week. And that's pretty impressive worldly wisdom, because when I was at IBM, before they promote you, they make you shadow the next person up in the ladder for 2 months. and you just shadow this big shot for 2 months, and then they promote you to that same position after 2 months. So it is indeed, you can learn a lot from shadowing someone. But that's a worldly dharma, because the circumstances are that you are ready to receive training. That's why you're allowed to shadow someone, okay, so that you learn the ins and outs of the position. So it's funny that this monk all of a sudden asked to shadow me for a week or so. And I chuckle, I say, you're not even my disciple. Why would I allow you even to shadow me? I don't even allow my own disciples to shadow me, because I don't need more stress. But the truth is that you won't be able to learn much, because all you can see, unless you have the wisdom, then you won't be able to see why people do certain things, okay? Not at all. And here we are with the Vimalakirti Sutra, where thanks to the help of a lot of my disciples, we have this translation and from AI and from all those people, and from the Dharma, from the teachings of Great Master Sutra, whose this simple line here on slide 189 explains to you what this Bodhisattva Dharma mark does. That's something that would take you many, many lifetimes, I mean countless lifetimes, before you would be able to hear of it even. Okay? And this is a lot more beneficial to you than shadowing an idiot like me. So I want you to understand why it's such a big deal for us to get together here and discuss this. And it's not about understanding, it's about hearing what these great men do. These are the greatest of the great bodhisattvas. Okay? So what does this Bodhisattva Dharma marks do? What he does, okay, he got his name because that's what he does constantly. He contemplates the 10 Dharma realms, 3 truth Dharma marks. Got it? Okay, next. It's not about understanding. If you understand, you got it right away. If you try to understand, then it's not the way of cultivation. You just listen to it, and it strikes an interest in your mind. Naturally, when you meditate, you will come back at some point in time. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next year, maybe next 10 million lifetimes later. It doesn't matter. If you hear this, it is stored in your 8th consciousness forever until you retrieve it when you cultivate. Okay, and one day you cultivate it and you say, aha, that's what he means by contemplating the 10 Dharma realms, 3 truths, Dharma marks. Okay, 10 Dharma realms. Why 10 Dharma realms? 10 realms because in the 10 directions, the Buddha Dharma is taught. Okay? It's the same Buddha Dharma. However, the emphasis is different. Meaning that, for example, never mind about 10 realms. I mean, this is a big universe. It's too far for us. But if, for example, if you look at Buddhism, we call it Chinese Buddhism because the Chinese have a certain characteristics, like Asian Buddhism, they have to be based on the Confucian value system, if you will. Okay? And so that's why the Dharma realms here, the Buddha Dharma has its peculiar different characteristics depending on the listeners, the disciples. You see? And so that's why this Bodhisattva here, look at the scope of his influence. He feels responsible for the 10 directions. Okay? That's all over the universe. Okay? And what does he contemplate? The 3 truths in the 10 directions. Okay? The 3 truths are very important for you to always remember these core concepts. 3 truths are primary truth, mundane truth, and middle truth. This is what you need to do when you're ready to become enlightened. Whether some of you will be put through it specifically, okay, do this, do this, do this. Some of you will be channeled, corralled into that naturally through assignments, okay? Because part of the training is in our small world, in our community, is giving you assignments for you to do. And that will help you naturally navigate through your ignorances. Okay? So that's why the 3 contemplations here is very, very critical. This is from Master Tuta's teachings. You contemplate the primary truth or the absolute truth. What is the absolute truth? Please always remember this. Absolute truth is the truth of true emptiness. Meaning that everything is truly empty, therefore, meaning what? Meaning that you should let go of your attachment to your wife, men, okay, or women. Okay? If you're not there yet, that means you still have room to grow. That's all it means. If you truly have wisdom, you can let go of anything. So it's incremental, folks. It's about, can you let go of your toys? Can you let go of food? Can you let go of drinks? You know, and you graduate naturally. And that's part of your development. Is that clear? Don't look at it as I need to let go of everything. It's the training is to let go of what really, really bothers you most right now. It really bothers you? That's when you sit there, you contemplate. What bothers me is what? Empty. There's nothing that bothers me, and there's no one being bothered. That's how you attack him. You counterattack. That's why your trance skills are very important, folks. Look casual, we do little things, but you're slowly developing the skills to counterattack. You attack me, I'm entitled to defend myself and defeat you because I have the technology to defeat you. So we fearless. The more we struggle, okay, whatever you're struggling with, your hunger, it bothers you, I feel so tired, okay? You can lie down, rest, or I know it's too late for you. Okay? Or you cross your legs and you look at hunger and said, this hunger is not real. My body is actually empty. And you look at it and you fight and you fight, you fight, and one day when you're out of breath, of strength, that's when, boom, the magic happens. And that's why I keep on telling these stupid depression demons, they're so stupid. I look at them and said, come and attack me, come and attack my disciple, because I'm telling you, when you attack them, I will use your attack to teach my disciples to get out and overcome it. And they cannot help themselves. They keep on attacking us. Stupid. Does it help? That's the primary truth. You start with that. You said, what bothers me? I'm not talking about everything. I'm talking about you looking inside. And you say, this really, really bothers me. And sometimes this one thing that bothers you, you can't handle it. Okay? It's okay. Go to the next one. Is that clear? We cannot fix our biggest problems right away, but we go to the next one. Okay? And we work on that. It's still too much for us, you go to the third one. Okay? What is the second one? Is the third one? The first one is the one that keeps on telling you to stop. That's the first one. Is that clear? The only thing that they do is that their sole purpose is to make you stop and quit. They cannot help themselves. Oh, it's not funny to you. Huh? You're suffering so much. I know it's not funny to you. You weaklings. Huh? And that's why, this is why the three contemplations here. I know some of you, most of you are not ready yet, but you can get started. What really bothers you, okay, fight it by looking at it as the ultimate truth that you discover when you have true wisdom is that it's empty. And I be frank with you, the one thing that bothers you, you can't deal with it. Go to the next one. It's okay. And that's good enough for you to rise and get out of their range. Got that? This is the secret of cultivation. Okay? So the contemplation, first contemplation is you crush them by contemplating the primary truth. It's empty. It's not real. Your pain is not real. Your suffering is not real. And you look at it, and you look at it, you look at it, and you keep on fighting and fighting. You resist the temptation to quit. And say, no, this is too much for me. No! You fight to the death. You fight and fight and fight. And you know, magic happens when you are exhausted. Don't quit prematurely. If you quit prematurely, you never discover the primary truth that is, it's all empty. You have to do it. If you do it the way I describe it to you, you will discover the primary truth yourself. Does it help? Number two, this is when you regain control and, as I said, counterattack. You come and attack me, I have the technology to counterattack and neutralize you. Any questions? Second truth, the mundane truth. That is, you contemplate the world as it is and embrace it. It's that simple. Don't judge them. Don't reject them. Just endure. You don't counterattack. Here, the mundane truth is that you endure. You see, well, I just went through here, the two truths here. You see, the nature of the Tan training is both of that. Can you see it now? The way we train you, whether it's sitting in full lotus, whether it's fasting, whether it's bowing, it's preparing you for these two contemplations. And I'm not afraid to share the secret with the rest of the world, because there's one element that makes it very advantageous for you is our community. You know, we all struggle so much that naturally there is camaraderie, there is a sense of community where, you know, the person who is a bit higher than you look at you and say, oh, I know what you're going through because I went through it myself. Okay? There's tolerance. There's support. You're not alone by the window. Okay? And that's what we took 2 decades to build this community. It makes it very, very special, preparing you for these two contemplations. And contemplation number 3 is the middle. Okay? And you finish the middle contemplation, you become enlightened. So in the future, there will be people who are given this opportunity to go into seclusion and when they're ready, contemplate, do the 3 contemplations. Okay, that's one way to develop people. Another way we've been doing it is because we cannot afford to send people into the seclusion. First of all, where can they be in seclusion? How do we feed them? And so forth and so forth. Okay, but so what we have to do is make you go through the 3 contemplations by assignments. Okay, and all you have is these precious times called the cheese. And 1 week of this, 1 week of that, 1 weekend of this, 1 weekend of that. That's all you have. All right? So that's why we have this policy of those of you who, in order to support you, you can, I welcome you on weekends to come for half a day to a day at the temple and just cultivate. All right, we do you a ton of good. Okay, or if you're so far away, you can come for a week or so, for a few days or so. hopefully, for those of you in Asia, we're going to have a way place where we can welcome some of you for a few days, okay? And so that you can practice there. All right? All right. So that's a three truths. Dharma marks meaning, remember what I told you? Dharma marks here refers to, don't be confused by it. Dharma marks means everything. Dharma means everything. The marks of everything. Mark is in Buddhist jargon, that means what can be observed, or characteristics is another word for marks, okay? And so in Buddhism, the way you trained, the way you open your wisdom is by using the confusion that your six sense organs are, that they create by looking at the Dharma marks. Because everything has characteristics, either with the sound, with the smell, with the taste, and so forth. And those are confusing you. And you've been like this way for many, many lifetimes. So we use that in order to help you get out of your state of confusion. So if you will, use poison to fight poison. Okay? Does it help? Okay? I just explained to you the theory behind it. Okay? And maybe I present it in a way using very simple words for you. The time people would like to use, the whole paragraph of unintelligible words that they themselves don't even understand. I struggle with some, when I give you a sentence, I say, Dharma marks, how do I explain that? What would that mean to people? Okay, so I simplify for you. So basically, the Dharma marks is, don't be confused by that, because at his level, you need to understand the scope of his contemplation. His contemplation is that everything. Whereas for us, at our level, we can open up by our wisdom by what? By contemplating what bothers us. Got that? Does it help? Because if you ignore what bothers you, it will follow you to your grave, to the next body, and next body, and next body. And that's what worldly people do. They encumber themselves with these things, lifetime after lifetime, so they sink. They have more issues this one lifetime, and then next lifetime they compound it, they increase it, and they add even more issues. All right? All right, so you don't have to say, this is too much for me. You can unravel it systematically. You don't have to worry about everything. You only focus on the way I teach you. Okay? So that's a certain teaching, by the way. Okay? For example, you contrast that with the Hinayana teaching of kindness or metta contemplation, where you send this kindness to your wife, to your children, to your parents, and then to your enemy, to your neighbor, and so forth. It's confusion. That's why it takes them forever. They sit there, and it's called, Chinese called 乱想. You think of everything, your neighbors, of the dogs and the cats. And did you realize that at DTT across the street, there's a neighbor who raises a chicken? So when morning light comes, the chicken okay? It is confusion. Okay, that's why it would take them so long. That's why these Pratyeka Buddhas, they have to sit there and they contemplate like crazy, many lifetimes before they say, it's empty anyway. That's why they're so slow. You see? Yeah. They don't understand how to cultivate. The Dharma is for children. Okay? All right. Next. Bodhisattva. Yes, Simon.
From YouTube, Diego was asking if the 10 Dharma realms are referring to the hells, ghosts, animals, asuras, humans, heavenly beings, arhats, Pratyeka Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and Buddhas.
No, here the 10, here is Fa Jie. Fa Jie is, I shortened it to 10 realms, actually it's 10 Dharma realms. Thank you for asking, we should correct it to avoid future confusion. 10 Dharma realms here. Actually, it's true. Let me correct myself. Xu Fang, I'm sorry. I'm glad that Diego corrected me. I stand corrected. Xu Fa Jie is 10 Dharma realms. Yes, the realms of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and so forth. Hells and so forth. 10 directions. I somehow read this of Xu Fang, which is wrong. It's 10 Dharma realms. Okay, so what he does, and let me complete it for you and correct it for you. I apologize for this. It's my mistake. 10 Dharma realms meaning that he looks at living beings, okay, and contemplate the three truths when he looks at all living beings, whether it's Buddhas, whether it's Bodhisattvas, whether it's Arhats, whether it's Pratyeka Buddhas, whether it's humans, whether it's gods, whether it's asuras, whether it's the three evil paths of hells, hungry ghosts, and animals. Okay? And look at the three truths in them. All right, thank you for pointing it out. Thank you, Diego. Next. Bodhisattva luminous marks.
光相菩萨
These are big shots, folks. To hear the names is a tremendous honor. Okay, and it creates a affinity between you and this particular Bodhisattva luminous marks. Okay, yeah. And so what is luminous marks? Master Chucha explains it as when you have wisdom, okay, the wisdom light. This wisdom light will be able to reveal the real marks. Okay? So what does it mean? It means that these bodhisattvas, this bodhisattva here, uses his wisdom, his incredible wisdom, his Buddha's wisdom. And when he uses wisdom here, the analogy is like shining a very bright light. Okay? And he looks at things. Marks is anything. Okay? So when he looks at things, naturally is what happens. It's the most frightening thing. When he looks at something, his wisdom light shines upon that, and he sees the real marks. And when you see the real marks, you're able to let go. Okay? The reason that you cannot let go, you cannot see the primary truth yet, is because you cannot see the real marks. Okay, 实相 is 无相，实相 is 无相，无不相。That's what you remember, you memorize. Real marks is no marks, but there's nothing without marks. Memorize it. I memorize it. I couldn't understand. I just memorize it. And one day, boom, I say, that's what it means. And you need to meditate a lot before that happens. You can read more books until the end of time, it's not going to happen. It's a lot faster if you meditate, if you bow, if you fast, and all those things. Okay? So this wisdom light here, when he shines upon anything, he can see the real mark. The real mark, the advantage of seeing real mark, which means it's truly empty, enables you to drop it. Drop any attachments. So he has no attachments whatsoever because he can see the real marks so clearly. It's no but and ifs. It's no what if. Okay? It's only the wisdom light shines on, and that's it. It's naked truth. Okay? And that's the nature of wisdom. There's no doubt in your mind. You see it, and you say, it's truly empty. Next. Bodhisattva radiant splendor.
光严菩萨
Okay. According to Master Sutra, he explains it as the wisdom light in your mind, okay, adorn the Dharma body. I have no idea what he's talking about. So apparently, if you have wisdom, you will naturally, your wisdom light will naturally adorn the Dharma body, whatever it means. Anyone has any better clues than I do? Okay? Yeah. Okay, so if you will, when you have great wisdom like this Bodhisattva, his mere presence right there at that Dharma assembly with this Vimalakirti Sutra explanation is adorning with his mere presence. Because his mere presence is, he brings his wisdom light with him and adorns the entire universe. Isn't that nice? That you can simply be yourself and you're adorning everything. You are benefiting everything. You're enhancing everything. That's your contribution. You may not be able to, like him, have this wisdom light that shines in the 10 directions everywhere. Okay? But the point is still the same. Your wisdom there that you have developed so far is adorning. you have a sphere of influence where your wisdom is enhancing the beauty, the goodness, the virtues. That's your sphere of influence. That's why you are making a difference yourself. It's real. And this Mahasattva, radiant splendor, his range is a lot broader, of course. It's 10 directions. Okay? All these is 10 directions. 10 Dhamma realms of the 10 directions. The previous Mahasattva is the 10 Dhamma realms, but the 10 Dhamma realms of the 10 directions. But when he says 10 Dhamma realms, he specifically looks at living beings. Where when you talk about 10 directions, you're looking both in sentient beings and insentient beings. So the range is a little bit bigger. All right? Do you see that? Can you see that when you have wisdom, your wisdom light is adorned, is creating an adornment, and you're adorning, you're adorning things around you? That's your gift, naturally. And people don't even notice. We don't need to be noticed. That's what you do naturally. That's your gift naturally. And that's your merit and virtue naturally. It's called non-doing merit and virtue. Adorning. What's adorning? People feel more peaceful when you're around. They feel less angry, less stupid, less greedy, and gooder in their heart. But they cannot put a finger on it. And that's why these Mahasattvas, these Bodhisattvas, are everywhere, adorning. When you are ready, because once you hear the word radiant, Bodhisattva, radiant splendor, Mahasattva, okay, there is a connection between you and him already. So he'll come quietly and invisibly to help you with his radiant splendor. Isn't that cool? But don't be greedy and don't get a big head. He only does it in order, only when it's necessary to help you, not to make you more arrogant and more full of yourself. All right, next. Bodhisattva, great adornment.
大言菩萨
Okay, another big shot. Okay, and Master Chucha, he says this is what he does in order to create great adornment. Okay, and this is this is what he does in order to create great adornments. What he does is he contemplates at the nature of the mind. All right? And he sees it as the nature of the mind as expansive and vast like empty space. Okay, so what happened is that, let me help relate to you in a smaller scale. Okay, our mind is our thinking mind is very, very limited. The more we learn, the more limited we become. Why is that? Because it's called the obstruction of what is known. The more you know, the more you become full of yourself and you refuse you close your mind, if you will. He said, you don't know what you're talking about. What are your credentials? What have you accomplished? Because I spent several years to get my PhD, okay? And I produce these papers, and I produce these inventions, okay? So my accomplishments are for real. What have you done? Okay, so that right there is the obstruction of what is known, is the most dangerous thing against you opening your wisdom. It's the one thing that bodhisattvas and mahasattvas are terrified of, is the knowledge that we acquire and develop. And guess what? That's what our education system and training is about. Develop that knowledge so that you obstruct yourself from opening your wisdom. Okay? So the antidote to that is right here. He says, when your thinking mind is bound by these concrete things, okay, these what so-called facts, accomplishments, okay, then it cannot expand anymore. Whereas your true mind, which is different from your thinking mind, is actually expansive and vast like empty space. My message to you is that be careful of your knowledge, because it creates obstructions to your unfolding of your wisdom. It happens to all the bodhisattvas. Yesterday we made fun of the old monk. He said, so what do you think? What are his problems? His problems, number one, is relics. When you see relics rain and you see all these things, and they are the most precious things, they're priceless, okay, it obstructs you. And you don't see it as empty anymore. You see it as Buddha's relics, when actually a relic's true nature is what? Empty. So he saw so many manifestations, so many wonderful things that happen with the relics. That knowledge there is what binds him to death. He's gonna die thinking relics is the most precious thing in the world, in his life, when the most precious thing is right here. in this page. Most precious thing is a vast mind, as vast, as expansive as empty space. Relics is nothing. And don't go very far. If he look and you tell him that and say, who are you to talk to me like this? I'm the one who makes relics rain. You think this bodhisattva need to see relics rain to be called great adornment? He's called great adornment because he doesn't need to make relics rain. If relics rain, he steps on it and probably spits on it and says, get the hell out of here. Don't waste my blessings. And you see how patient I am with this old fool for 10 years? I let him believe that it's the most important thing, is the most helpful thing. But now he knows the truth, what I think of it. Why do you think I don't give a damn about relics exhibits? Because I'm trying to teach you. I told you, that is to help people who don't cultivate. And that's what it's for. But it's never that important. Yes, it's a very important tool that we can use, but that's once a year. It's not gonna take up my life, my attention, my efforts. Because it's only designed to help a certain kind of Buddhist disciples and non-Buddhist disciples. That's it. See how brutal it is. If you yourself can can recite this mantra or recite this sutra, and then all of a sudden you see relics draining down everywhere you go, under here, on there, and so forth. It's a cool thing, isn't it? And that's the obstruction of what is known. It's the most dangerous thing for bodhisattvas. And he has the antidote. He says, my relics I see is empty. There's nothing in my mind. My mind has no relics, arranged relics. My mind sees nothing. And that's called a great state. When your mind is as vast, as empty, and free from all knowledge, from all past accomplishments, it's called great state of mind and great knowledge. And that's the greatest adornment possible. Different world, isn't it? From yours. Okay, I move on. You're falling asleep. Bodhisattva Bao Ji, or accumulation of treasures.
宝积菩萨
Okay, now, guess what? He's the one who accumulates a lot of relics. Let's see. Let's find out. What does he do? Okay. What he does in order to accumulate treasures, because he has treasures upon treasures. He accrues more and more treasures, like the old fool, accumulating more relics and more relics and more relics. Okay? And the boss calls. Here's what he does in order to accrue pleasures, treasures, not pleasures, pleasures too. He looked at the mind, he contemplated the mind, and he sees, you see, this is connected to the prior Mahasattva. He sees that the mind is, although it's empty, completely empty, but at the same time, it's complete with the 10,000 practices, meaning that although you're empty, okay? Although your true nature is empty, all right? That's no excuse for not helping you. So even though he sees the mind is empty, meaning you're empty, that still does not stop him from doing the 10,000 things in order to be of help to you. That's the next step. Understand that? There's no excuse. Okay? And when you commit to doing the 10,000 practices to help others, those 10,000 practices actually accumulate and create jewels. The Buddha's relics, all the relics, are the crystallization of the 10,000 beneficial practices. And the reason that Master Hsuan has something like several thousand relics, because that's a crystallization of the 10,000 beneficial, the 6,000 beneficial practices that he did in his lifetime. Buddhas, in contrast, Buddhas have infinite relics, okay, with infinite varieties. You go to Thailand, they have their own style of relics. You go to India, they have their own style of relics, a little bit drier than the Thai people, because India is a dry country. Okay. You go to Myanmar, it's different. You go to Tibetan relics, you see that it's different kinds of relics altogether. Okay? And so these, the Buddhas, he has all these different type of relics. They're all Buddha's relics, but they're all different because of his 10,000 practices. Isn't that cool? And that's a physical manifestation, these gems, these relics, and this gold like that you will find in the Western Bliss Pureland. The ground is made of gold and of diamonds, not cubic zirconias, mind you. There's no cubic zirconia in the Pureland, only diamonds and silver and copper and precious metals. Okay? Lapis lazuli, manau, carnelian, red pearls, and so forth. And all those gems are because of the 10,000 practices that Amitabha Buddha have performed lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And he says, with all this merit and virtue, okay, even though he sees that all living beings are empty, he's still willing to help them. Okay, and they, in the end, because of all that gems he accrued in his path of cultivation, he's able to create something called Western Bliss Pureland. Isn't that cool? It's real. If you believe in Western Bliss Pureland, then you should believe that it came about because of the 10,000 practices. And he had to accrue the treasures like Bao Ji right here. Things happen for a reason, and this is why we are taking a peek into their world on why and how Buddha lamps came about and materialized. All right? Yes, 7.
From YouTube, we have Daniel7, who asks, Amitofa Master, are there yin beings who try to drain and feed off our energy, sort of like a vampire?
Absolutely. Would you like to know which beings? It's your sons. You think they're playing? Actually, they're listening with half an ear. We are sucking energy from each other constantly. This one is sucking energy from that one sucking energy from the one behind her, and so forth. You know, we're sucking energy back and forth. It's life. Okay? So that's why when you come and cultivate and you harness this good energy here, you absorb it and you store in your heart, you go home, you hug your son, and you're giving it to your son. Okay? And that's one of the more important gifts you can give to your son. Because that good energy there, those good vibes you give to them is actually doing a lot more good than you realize. You know, on the other hand, if you are a salesman, and this is not a knock on salesmen or realtors, okay, and you go and you cheat on your clients, and in order to make money, and that's what we all have to do when we sell. Let's face it. Okay? If you're truthful, it's a wrong profession. Okay? So we have to, like you management, oh boy, do you have to con your employees? You cannot be truthful to them. Okay? You can be truthful to a certain extent, but there are things that management does that employees can never understand and which are absolutely necessary. Okay? Same thing. Yeah. So, and so if that's what you do, okay, you are a lawyer who specializes in exploiting weaknesses in the legal system to defend your drug dealer clients, okay? So your whole day is devoting to that kind of energy. You bring it home to your family and you pass it on to your children and to your husbands. Don't look very far. Don't think that, the thing will suck your energy. No, you suck energy and others suck energy from you. That's life. All right? The externalists have these practices where they actually suck energy from you through, I saw a guy who did it through his palm of a hand here. Okay, so when I first started practicing Buddhism, there's this Taoist here, it says, I suck energy from girls. I said, oh yeah, how do you do that? He says, let me teach you. Contemplate right here. And I said, so why would you want to do that? He says, when you do that, they become less resistant to you. It's a very smart woman. They have such things. So once I learned that, so once I have a nephew who's very manic. He fidgets like crazy. He moves, he's like maybe 3-4 year old. And so we were driving around and the car is full. So they said, would you mind if he sits with you? Which is kind of illegal, okay? I do illegal things too. So I said, okay, no problem. So he sat there, in the front seat with me, and right there between my legs, and he fidgets like crazy. He turns around and moves, twists his body. And I remember this externalist guy, acquaintance, who says, if I suck his energy, I see what happens. So, but instead of doing the Dharma thing, I knew a little bit about Master Shinwa. I started reading Master Shinwa, so I suck his energy, but not through here. Here is stupid. Anyway, I suck his energy, okay, and within 2-3 minutes, he's all of a sudden, and the parents notice. The parents said, what happened to him? He always fidgets like crazy wherever we go until we're tired. They were so impressed. I said, I don't know. Maybe he's not feeling well. Don't do that, okay? Anyway. We should give, not steal from people. That's not healthy. All right. Are we okay with accumulation of treasures? Next. Yes, 2. Two.
아까 그 아미타 부처님의 정토가 그 만행으로 장엄된 아미타 부처님의 그 렐릭으로 이루어져 있다고 하셨는데, 그러면 이 예토도, 우리가 지금 살고 있는 이 예토도 그러면은 서가모니, 이 세상 자체가 다 서가모니 부처님의 결국에는 그 렐릭으로 이루어져 있는 겁니까? 이 예토도 결국에는 정토와 똑같은 겁니까?
Before, Master mentioned that Amitabha's Pureland is the result of relics of the 10,000 practice. Then how about the Saha world? Is it the...
Yes, it's also the result of the 10,000 practices. But Shakyamuni Buddha chose to manifest it with gold buried under the ground. Amitabha chose to manifest his gold above the ground. Does it help? Okay, very good. Yes, over there, 7 has a question.
From YouTube, we have a question. Tiara E. Shea says, are there any chants you can use when your energy is drained?
Yes. You don't have to steal from others at all. Okay? Just because I teach you doesn't mean you should do it. Okay? You see the damage here that you can do in the real world? From tonight, you know that if I show you how to suck people's energy, and you know you can, or you figure it out eventually, look at the kind of abuse that could happen. Let's say you're in negotiating, at the negotiating table, and you go back and forth, and you suck the energy out of your opponent, his mind becomes confused. So it's unfair competitive advantage. It can be abused, okay? That's not a healthy thing to do. This is what a lot of these externalists, disciples, they do in order to gain an advantage over us. Okay? And when they do that, they're in big trouble. They sink. The more you abuse it, the faster you sink. So they only see short-term benefits, they don't see the serious damages. All right? That's very, very low level. And this is what a lot of externalists do. Because that's what makes them low level, because of these distractions. All right? They don't see the big picture, and that's why they get sidetracked by these little things. Okay, next. Bodhisattva accumulation of eloquence.
辩机菩萨
Okay, so eloquence here, he says here, when you are in a court with the Dharma nature, therefore you will be full of eloquence. Okay, what is the Dharma nature? Dharma here refers to the Buddha Dharma. Okay, so in particular, if your heart and your mind is in accord with the Buddha Dharma teachings, then when you speak it, you're naturally more eloquent. Okay? It turns out the one thing you need to also see here, because his name is mentioned, meaning that one very, very important skill when you get up there is to have eloquence when you speak Dharma. Otherwise, people will fall asleep and doze off. Nothing worse than that, okay? And it turns out, furthermore, here, and this is kind of interesting, because this is from side research. He says here, this bodhisattva, accumulation of eloquence, is also called wisdom accumulation bodhisattva. Okay, so wisdom and eloquence are sort of go hand in hand. Okay, and he also says here, in this era, in the kalpa of the worthy kalpa, among the 16 Buddhas, he's one of them. So he's actually a Buddha that will appear during our current worthy aeon. Okay? And not only that, it further says that this bodhisattva with Mandrusi bodhisattva, and it's funny, infinite resolve bodhisattva that you heard of very often in the great compassion repentance, in the is it great compassion repentance? I think so. No, but definitely the universal door chapter 25 of Lotus Sutra that we recite during the One Yin Dharma assemblies, where he's an interculator with the Buddha, and the Buddha explained the Dharma to him. He's actually at the same level as Manjusri. Okay, at the same level as this accumulation of eloquence, meaning they're actually Buddhas manifesting as Mahasattvas. Okay, big shot. Okay, accumulation of eloquence. Remember his name. Next one, Bodhisattva jewel hands.
保守菩萨。
Okay, jewel hands is refers to Bao Shou here. Jewel hand here refers to a tantric dharma. Okay, they practice a dharma called jewel hands. What hand is it in the four, two hands and eyes? 27. $27? No. Anyone? What's jewel hand? Yeah, you kidding me? I gave you this treasure, this priceless treasure, and you don't even know? What? Which hand is that? 29, I hear 29. 24? It's the first one, you idiots. Jesus, number one. It's the jewel hand. That's a tantric practice. Isn't it fascinating? Tantric practices start with number one. Okay, jewel hand. And jewel hand here can bring to fruition what is wished. And why is it number one? Because most people wish to get rich. That's the first thing they want. They say they don't want love, they want this. They said, I can get by without love as long as I have money. That's conventional wisdom. Huh? Okay? So jewel hand here, the nature of jewel hand is to bring to fruition what is wished. Okay? So what it really says here is that Ru Yi Zhu, okay, it's as you wish pearl. In number one hand we practice, we give you. Okay? So that Dharma right there is, this Bodhisattva is, if you want to accomplish that, you pray to that Bodhisattva. Yeah, okay? And what he does is, he says that he contemplate, he purifies his body, mind, he purifies his mind, and that is, and then that's how you realize your mind is complete with the two wisdoms of provisional and actual of the jewel hand. Okay, so you see whatever explained to you in that handout we give to you and all the books that Master Hyoa wrote and explained and the sutras, actually this is the engine behind it. Isn't that fascinating? Huh? Don't think that the jewel hand you practice number one right there. Okay? Okay? When you do that, not only will you be rich this lifetime, or eventually, maybe in a future lifetime because you're no good, but actually it gives you provisional actual wisdom. It opens that provisional actual wisdom. Opens your wisdom. And you see it only as money. You small thinkers. Okay? You see the kind of treasure you have? One hand is what this guy specializes in. Okay? And then he talked about how to bring to fruition things that are wished. Okay? Would you like to know? If you're not interested, I can stop because time is up. I'll give it to you for free. See, the Chinese... let me see. Before he stops. Okay? It's very detailed, but basically, your cultivation, your path of cultivation goes through this, brings you to this kind of accomplishments. Okay, I leave it here for you because it's from the Fo Guangshang dictionary, and I didn't understand CD, and I had to look it up, and this is the explanation, and that's part of your programming, part of your training, naturally. Okay, but it's interesting because they actually elaborated in the secret school. This is what they do, okay? We don't explain it to you because why not? Quickly, because of the obstruction of what is known. If we can help avoid it for you, we don't tell you. Because the more we tell you, the more obstruction you have. That's what happens to me. I teach you something, you get a big head, I slap you next. Don't get a big head because you get a big head because you think you know more. Yes, you know more, you're stronger and everything, but you have a big head. Okay? And that's the difference between me and my teacher, my Chinese teacher. My Chinese teacher, he's afraid to offend his disciples. They run away. He needs American disciples. I don't. I don't need any disciples. And that's why. Sometimes you have to slap them. Because if not, the obstruction of what is known sneaks in. What do you think? You progress so fast and we tell you you are 2A, second stage Rahat, you're 4th stage Rahat, you're 1G, first ground Bodhisattva, and so forth. You know, when you hear that arrogance arises in you right away, naturally, you say, ooh, I'm cool. I'm special, am I not? And I noticed that. So the next chance I have, I will slap you. To remind you of what? You're not special. You're not that important. And that's a counter move to the obstruction of what is known. My master doesn't do that. That's why they get in trouble and cannot be undone. Okay? You can't have it both. You cannot have adoring disciples who will become Mahasattvas. There's no such things. Mahasattvas, when you become Mahasattva, you say, I hate masteryonghua. That's the way it should be. And one day I want to make him pay. They all adore my Chinese teacher. He's the world to them. He's like me, for me as well. He's my idol. Okay? That's why 6th Patriarch had to come and slap me in the face. You idiot. I'm so grateful for that. Very early on, 6th Patriarch came and said, you an idiot. Why are you so stupid? You think you're smart. You're so stupid. It sticks with me. I have a complex of inferiority because the damage is done forever. If someone who is like a Buddha tells you you're stupid, he cannot be wrong. No matter how much you... What's so funny? You lucky you far away. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, it just dawned on me that Universal Door chapter, so the conversation between the Buddha and the infinite intention Bodhisattva, actually, they just two Buddha talking to each other and praising Guan Yin Bodhisattva. So basically, what they talking about is just like complete teaching.
That's right.
Perfect teaching.
That's right. That's why that Lotus Sutra is incredible. Incredible wisdom. And when you recite the Universal Door chapter there, it's you're creating incredible seeds for yourself, incredible seeds of wisdom, incredible treasures. Tonight, we talk about Bao Ji and all these Bodhisattvas. That's what they're doing. Okay? All right? Thank you, Ed. Okay, what do you want? For?
I'm reading a question from Xiao Jin in China.
Okay.
So she,
Go ahead.
In October last year, she sat for 30 hours at home, and afterwards her left knee had some pain, and then she sat for 24 hours again the second weekend. By that time, she can still walk without feeling the knee pain, but then she kept sitting for like 4 or 5 hours, and then the pain on the inner side of her left knee became
Stop
more
sitting.
obvious. Huh?
Stop sitting until it heals.
Yeah. So she basically asked that she has been seeing doctor, and her questions essentially should she? So she has been seeing acupuncture for 1 month now. They say that there might be a small ligament on the knee that's been injured. So it sounds like she wants to sit still.
Who
in the
told her
full
to sit
lotus.
so much? So soon?
From what I know, nobody told her, and she asked Venerable Xianxin about a month ago.
So Xinxin's fault.
No, Venerable Xianxin
Now we know.
Venerable Xianxin gave her the advice that she should not sitting long sit, and then she starts.
Stop it completely. Don't bend that leg anymore.
Okay, that's basically her question. Her question is, should he?
Don't bend it. You can do the other leg, but not that leg.
And she decided to sit 30 hours herself. She heard it from some Sangha that sitting 30 hours helped the Sangha. So she decided to sit 30 hours on her own
But she's not a Sangha.
without telling. I heard it after fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told her to rest already.
Again, folks, okay, don't go crazy. Go slow. There's no need for you to be in such a hurry. Okay? The body needs time to adapt. Okay? I strongly urge you to go slow. No need to push yourself so hard. Okay? Physically, you need to give your body a chance to catch up with your mind. Your mind can take it, but your body cannot. And if you're not careful, you injure yourself. And it takes you a lot longer to recover, that's all. That's part of what I learned. I injured myself as well. And it took me 6 months before I could sit in full lotus again. It's funny, you know. I sat for 16 hours and hyperextended my knees because the previous time was 10 hours, and I decided to impress those people who had exceeded 10,000 Buddhas during my first official Chanchi. So I sat for 16 hours, and the Vietnam people at night, they walked in to check, make sure that I was still sitting. You know, I was the only one in the Buddha hall. I was very proud. And I sat straight because I knew they're coming. The door opens, and then when they left, it's all facade for me. I'm Vietnam, okay? And after that, my knees are hyperextended, and it hurt like hell. I was stupid. You see, I was so stupid. Just from 10 to 16 hours, I injured myself already. This woman is crazy. You don't do that. Okay, and you lose more time to heal yourself. The body will heal, hopefully. Okay, most of the time will heal, but that's why this is my advice to you. Go very slow. Go incremental. Okay, go 10%, 20% max. That's it. You don't go more than that. And wait for the next time so that your body can adapt. That's all. Okay? The Dharma is not about going crazy to damage yourself. Okay? Don't do that. Yeah. You go incrementally, and that's a lot better for you. The training is incremental. It's not, you're not supposed to go crazy. Okay? I go 10% more, 20% max. That's it. If you're ambitious, I prefer to go slow. Okay? Is that clear? Just because right now you said you can handle it, but the body, okay, your mind, again, there's your mind that can adapt so fast, but the body needs time. Okay? So that's why after that you need to rest so that your body can catch up. Just like after the flu, I just had the flu. Finally, I have stamina. So for 3 weeks, my body, I couldn't sustain anything. But on the flip side of it is that all the healing that need to happen because I work out, all the small aches right there, the small tears, never heal completely. And for the last 3-4 weeks, now I exercise. Yesterday, I feel nothing for the first time in months. See, the body needs time. As you age, it takes a little bit longer and longer and longer. You need to take that into consideration by doing it incrementally. Don't go crazy, that's all. Listen to your body. Okay? All right, we stop here tonight. Thank you, everyone.